Most of the jobs that we do carry at least a 1-year warranty. All our water heaters carry at least 5. People will sell you stuff that you don't need just to make a buck. Well, that's one of the things about me, was I'm not a pushy person. We're trying to take back the stigma that they have for tradesmen of being pushy, of being unrealistic and unreliable.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Real Producers Partners Podcast. I'm David Owen with Chainscape Web, and today I'm joined by Dawon Stokes, who is with S&L Plumbing located in the St. Louis area. In each episode, we speak with a Real Producers partner to learn more about them and their business. Welcome to the podcast, Dawon.
Thank you.
So as we get started in our discussion, let's share with the listeners the best way to get a hold of you.
The best way to get a hold of me is by phone or by email. Phone number is 314-585-3906. Our office number is 314-397-8851. You can email us at sl.plumbing2024@gmail.com.
Okay.
All right. You can also contact us at our website.
Okay.
Water Heater Repairs St. Louis.com.
Okay.
Or snlplumbing.org.
All right. So there's a number of ways to get a hold of you, and then they can do that. Can they leave a message?
Yes.
Either of those numbers?
Either of those numbers.
Okay.
And you also can find us on LinkedIn and on Facebook.
Okay. Is the Facebook page S&L Plumbing or what?
Correct.
Okay. Same way with LinkedIn?
Yes.
Okay.
Simple and basic for now.
Good. So what inspired you, since I understand you're the owner of S&L Plumbing, what inspired you to start the business?
Well, I have worked for several plumbing companies over the years. Some were great, some were not so great. But my goal has always been, since I was a kid, to have my own business.
Okay.
I grew up in St. Louis, and my first job was selling snow cones and peanuts with my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
So from 9 to 16, that was what I did.
Okay.
And I loved it.
All right.
So I always knew I would have my own.
Now, how long ago was that?
About over 30 years ago.
Yeah. So a while ago.
Yeah, so a while ago.
Where did you guys sell the snow cones?
Yeah. You said what, sir?
Where did you sell them?
Oh, we did the VP Fair, Mayday parades, Shriner parades at Fairground and O'Fallon Parks. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm been pretty much to all festivals that they've had in Missouri. I've been there.
Oh, wow.
So
how long have you had the plumbing business?
So we've been in business since when I graduated from Vatterod in 2008-ish, 2009. I started my business before I knew what the business takes. So in 2010, we were established. I kind of stepped back from that part of it to get all of the certifications that I need. And now I am a licensed plumber. And so it's been a year. It would be a year as of May 1st.
Talk a little bit about the certifications. What's the effort involved in that, and what are they, and what do they?
To become a journeyman plumber, you have to do a 5-year apprenticeship, and that will entail some school training, technical training. You have to do so many hours under a master plumber just to get to that point. Once you get to become a journeyman plumber, your duties become a little bigger because you are allowed to go onto job sites on your own. You're still working under a master, but you're the person that is being trusted because you put in the time.
Okay.
You built a reputation. So now that I've had those things taken care of, now I'm back and officially trying to build a family business to leave a legacy for my family.
Sure. Sure.
So,
And so since 2010, basically, you've been
yes.
in business.
Right.
So you've been around a while.
Right. I've been around for a while.
Yeah. So tell me also about service areas you cover. What part is the St. Louis area?
So right now we're covering Florissant, U-City, Baldwin. We cover St. Louis City and St. Charles City and St. Charles County. Overland. We do work for St. Louis City and work in other St. Louis County municipalities. Those other ones that I name out are kind of my favorite areas.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Also, you had mentioned to me that you kind of have a philosophy about your business.
yes, sir. We our slogan is flowing solutions, happy homes every time.
Okay. And explain that a little bit.
We like to deliver solutions that keeps everything flowing,
Okay.
keeps your house moving. We want to leave you out. We want to make sure that we do never leave you without service.
Okay.
So we have to do a stack repair. We want to make sure that at least your facilities are back in business before we walk out your door.
All right.
Even if we got to come back and close up walls, we will set toilets, set vanities, set tubs, anything we need to do to make sure that you have a facility
Right.
until we're complete.
Okay.
So we're pretty good at that. As far as water heaters and stuff like that are concerned, those are 2 to 3 hour turnaround. We're pretty fast and efficient, and we stand by our work. Most of the jobs that we do carry at least a 1-year warranty. All our water heaters carry at least 5.
Okay.
We will come out yearly and perform a flush. First flush is free. Anything after that is $125 to $150, depending on the situation.
So that to me says there are certain things that the homeowner might be able to do to alleviate issues in the future. Is that true?
Yes. And we are not opposed to explaining how to perform these maintenances, because a lot of them are not hard. It's just a matter of knowing how.
The proper method.
The proper way to do this.
Yeah.
Again, there's YouTube, and they'll tell you all of their variations from everybody's opinion, but we're telling you based off of the equipment that we're installing and what we would do. And we will let you.
Yeah, what they recommend with the equipment. Okay.
Try to make sure that you don't do anything to avoid any warranties for anything that you purchase or anything that we install.
Okay.
But that's a big thing. If you touch something or remove something or take out a safety feature, more likely it voids your warranty.
Okay.
So, we're just honest. We just believe in informing our customers of every step of the process. We never proceed with a process or force our customers to do something that they're not ready for. If that means that we have to put a pin in it and pause until their situations is different, we can do that. We do offer financing for those options.
Okay.
So we come in and do a nice presentation, a consultation, and say we're upfront and honest about everything, and we're very reliable. So if anything goes wrong, we have no problem returning and rectifying the situation. We have no problem coming out, even if it's something minor and you think that it was tedious. Nope. Our job is to ensure your comfort with every service.
All right. So that sounds like quality is a focus for you guys.
Yes. Quality control over quantity. Like I said, I would prefer to come to your house, fix everything properly, and you never need me back for that situation unless you want something new.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So what's a common misconception? You've been in the business a while. What's a common misconception about the plumbing industry?
Everything is expensive.
Yeah.
There are a lot of pushy salespeople. People will sell you stuff that you don't need just to make a buck.
Okay.
And that's one of the things about me that I've learned over the years of working for companies. That's what's made me successful. Is I'm not a pushy person. I'll
Okay.
give you enough. I'll give you enough information that you would be able to make a safe and affordable decision on what plumbing situations that you need.
Okay.
We went to a house the other day and we went to repair leaking valves for a shower.
Right.
But when we got there, we realized that their inside shutoff valve, their main shutoff valve, didn't work. So we had to shut off the water valve at the meter out in the yard.
Oh boy.
Yeah, once we fixed that part and got everything back on, we noticed another valve inside of a wall leaking that goes to the toilet. And it was just a half-inch gate valve. That eventually will need to be repaired, but we were able to tighten up the packing to get it at least to stop the
Okay.
drip. So
All right.
we don't, everything is not necessarily fix it now, repair it now, or everything is dire need. So we don't, that's a part of pressure sale.
Yeah,
And
it's
we don't do pressure sale.
not necessarily a rip and replace in every situation.
Right. So, I mean, but we do have the point of the honesty and the point of the upfront conversation is so that if anything happens, they'd already know that you've pre-warned them about these things instead of just popping up with something new. And it's always, they just add stuff just to be adding stuff or add stuff that didn't tell me about, or they tell me one price and by the end they were so much dollars above without even informing me of this.
Yeah.
So even if we replace a stack and we get to the point of cutting the bottom of the stack and we may have to break the floor. Before we break the floor, we'll bring the customer down, show them why we have to break the floor. Right. And then we have that prices already put into our quotes on if we have to go that far, this is what we'll do. But even though we put that in there, we still will want you to see why we're doing this.
Sure.
No, I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want to be able to show you and explain to you why that needs to be done.
Well, you walk them through the process, and so they understand the next step and why the next step is the next step.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, so what makes you different from other plumbing company?
Yes, what exactly makes me different. I said I have no problems being honest. I also learned early in my life that every customer is not my customer. It's not saying that I can't help you, but I may not be the proper fit if you're asking for something unreasonable or you're asking me to basically perform a miracle. As opposed to perform a miracle repair as opposed to replacing something. And sometimes it can be repaired, but it'll take longer and cost you more for a repair sometimes than it does for a replacement.
Yeah. Okay. I understand.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, what's the most bizarre situation you've been in? I'm sure there's lots of them, but does one or two stick out?
The most bizarre situation I've been in is since I've been a plumber, I've never went backwards on plumbing. So normally when you go into a house, they want you to take out a bathtub and add a shower.
Okay.
Well, I had a customer, her son was autistic. He doesn't like the water hitting the top of his head.
Okay.
So we took out the stand-up shower and we installed a bathtub.
Wow.
And that was pretty fun. The kids were able to participate in their likes as far as how they wanted the shower handles to be, the color of the tile.
Right.
So the daughter picked out the color of the tile. The son picked out the controls for for the tub. So it was pretty fun just working with them and letting them participate in what they want. And I prefer for you to get what you want as opposed to I provide you with something and then down the road, you just really don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you do things beyond plumbing?
I
Because
have
that situation would be beyond plumbing.
yes. So I do have. So it is a family business. I do have other outside contractors that I work with.
Okay.
That I've known for years. One guy that I actually trained at another company, but he does carpentry.
Okay.
So he's a great framer, but he also is pretty good at plumbing, and he's
Okay.
coming along. I have a son-in-law who does tile work, and I have a
Okay.
brother-in-law that does tile. So both union carpenters. So I have a nice little team that
Yeah.
I'm building, and we're all family.
So it sounds to me like if you have a bathroom remodel or something like that, you can bring the whole team.
I bring a whole team,
Yeah. That's not,
and I stand by my word. And if there's any problems, I deal with it directly.
okay.
So if a contractor does something in a customer's home, I'll remove you because
Yeah.
I prefer my customer to be happy and comfortable in their home
Right.
as opposed to me worrying about maintaining a bad relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you would do that to my customer, that means that our relationship is not that great anyway.
That's true.
So, and I've had that situation before where a contractor not knowing that a customer's home and bad mouthing the customer because they did want to spend the money with them that they wanted to spend.
Okay.
And I removed that contractor.
Okay.
I'll figure it out. Like, so
Yeah. Well, you'll find one that'll do what you need done.
yes.
Yeah.
So like I said, I have a lot of people that I trust, and with me being in a BNI business group, there's
Okay.
always a lot of rough resources. I now have extra resources that I didn't have before.
Right. You
From
have a
people.
larger team that you can draw from
Yes.
in
And I
almost
know
any situation.
right. And I know these people. I've met and talked to these people. I've gotten to know them through inside and outside interactions.
Mm-hmm.
So most of them words is their word, and they stand and stand in honesty like I do.
Yeah, that's
So.
great. You talked about quality service. What would you say makes you different from other plumbing companies?
I would say it's our honesty and our reliability, our expert solutions.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, we may overtalk the situation, but it's only because we want to know every step that we can take to provide the solution.
Okay.
We want the customer to be comfortable with the solutions that we provide.
Sure.
Like I said, we're not a sales company. We're a plumbing company. We're trying to take back the stigma that they have for tradesmen
Right.
of being pushy, of being unrealistic and unreliable. So
Overselling.
overselling, anything that a customer has complained about as far as it goes when it comes to tradesmen,
Yeah.
my job is to fix that in their mind.
So if you're dealing with a real estate agent, how do you have you done that in the past?
Oh, yeah.
So how do you deal with them in making corrections if they need to sell a house, but you see an issue? How do you deal with that?
Same way, just upfront honesty. So most realtors know code corrections.
Yeah.
And with code corrections, there's really no way around it.
Right.
If that's what the inspectors want, you have to give them what they want.
Yeah.
Now, if it's an occupancy inspection, there are things that you don't have to per se do extensively. But with me, whether it's an occupancy inspection or a code correction, I do everything to the letter.
Okay.
No matter what I charge you, no matter what we do everything to the letter because we don't want anything to ever come back as wrong.
Right.
So we may do a little overkill.
Well,
We may do like St. Louis City may not require everything that St. Louis County requires, but to make sure that I'm not wrong, I always go by the county's code.
sure. Sure. And then you're covered.
Yeah. And we know we're covered.
Okay. All right. What else should the listeners know about you as a company?
That's a cool question. So we do help with steps. I have a lady now that she's she had a stroke. She was gonna put a regular tub in,
Okay.
but she has been advised by her doctor to install a walk-in tub.
Okay.
So we went through the steps with her and trying to helping her find the proper tub. She ordered everything herself. We just sent her information.
Okay.
So we will help you with finding the information for the proper things that you need. That way you can look up and read up on it. We will provide you with multiple quotes. So if we have to do it in stages, we can do it in stages. Most of my customers like that part because they we'll always do this, and then we'll call you back when we're ready for that or when we get the money for that. Our financing is pretty good. There's really not any solution, not any problems that we can't address.
Okay.
Even if I have to outsource things, like we're a small company, so we don't do outside digs.
Okay.
But I have a reliable company that I trust, and I always outsource it to them.
Okay. All right.
So,
all right. Well, good. Well, listen, once again, why don't you restate your phone numbers to contact you and the website and everything, and then we'll wrap up today.
Okay. So, SNL Plumbing. My phone number is 314-585-3906. Office phone number is 314-397-8851.
Okay.
You can follow us on Facebook at SNL Plumbing, and you can follow us on LinkedIn at SNL Plumbing. Our website, our water heater repairs, STL.com.
Okay.
And SNLplumbing.org.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Well, thanks for your time today.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
I enjoyed learning more about what you guys do, and hopefully the listeners will find value in this and contact you soon.
All right. And just remember our slogan, flowing solutions, happy homes every time.
All right.
All right.